Alright everyone, this is Darkener, and I'm going to explain to you how the current Lightwell works. I've been reading a lot in the forums about how people think Lightwell would work a lot better with a UI element added to it so that you didn't have to click on Lightwell. Well, this is very frustrating because Lightwell actually does have a UI element and you don't have to click on it. And I will demonstrate how this works. First, you have to set up a couple things to make sure you are ready to take advantage of this. In your key bindings, you should have either interact with mouse over or interact with target, or both key bound to something. And you should also have target last target key bound to something, if that's important to you as well. I'm a healer, so I actually don't really care what I'm targeting, because I usually heal by targeting this way. I don't target people on the field, but for DPS or other folks, they might not be able to target, so the mouse over works, and they will have to target last target. Okay, so we will cast Lightwell back here. Alright, so there's Lightwell. First, one of the things I want to demonstrate is that it's poking through the ceiling. No, not really. I wanted to demonstrate the first UI element. It's the actual target frame. When you click on it, it selects the Lightwell, and there's this thing right here which is a read or a target frame UI element, which everyone QQs doesn't exist, but it does exist. It's a UI element that represents the Lightwell. So rather than clicking on the Lightwell, when you see the gear that says you can click, and if you right click, that will work. I'll get a Lightwell charge, and Author's Abacus will proc, because it usually does. Well, instead of doing that, you can actually be targeting, well, I'll show you how this works. So rather than right clicking on the Lightwell, you can just hover your mouse over this UI element, and then, like I demonstrated here, your interact with mouse over keybind, F17 or whatever it is you want to make it. If you want to bind it to one of your mouse buttons, I can bind F17 to one of my mouse buttons, so that all I have to do is go over and hover over this UI element and hit the F17 button, and it gives me a Lightwell charge, and I didn't have to find Lightwell or click it. Here, I'll demonstrate it again. Oh, there goes Author's Abacus. I was wondering when that would happen. So I do not see Lightwell at all. It's too bad, because if I could click on it, but I can't. Deselected it. So you don't have to be able to see it at all. You can just hover your mouse over your Lightwell UI element that apparently nobody thinks exists in this game, and hit your F17 button, and you've just consumed another charge. Okay, so, well, but that's great, but what happens if I'm targeting other things? I'm going to lose the target. Well, there's another UI element that you can take advantage of that fixes that problem, which is set focus. I'm sure people have heard of it. I also have my Healbot raid frames set to show me my focus targets. I use that on the Valithria fight, and alright, so you can put this anywhere on the screen you want, and you don't have to worry about what you're currently targeting. You could be targeting yourself. You don't have to click on the Lightwell. You don't even have to see it. You can have this UI element anywhere on the screen where you feel comfortable, you know, somewhere like, you know, and you can just hover over here while you're fighting. Pew pew, pew pew, come down here, hit F17, which is your interact with mouse over, and you get a charge, and your Author's Abacus procs. Alright, I'm not sure if you noticed, but it actually changed my current target to Lightwell. I'll do that again, and I'll target Kellamir over here. So I have him targeted, so if I go over here and I hit F17 as I mouse over the raid UI element, or the whatever UI element, I get a charge, but it changes my target. So that is really the primary problem. Here, let's with this thing, is that it changes your target, which is a pain in the butt, except for the fact that my L button actually targets last target. So I mean, that's just, I mean, how hard was that? I mean, that was like I hit the L button. I mean, I hovered over here, I hit the F17 button, then I hit the L button, and Author's Abacus procs. Not sure why that's so hard. You don't have to find Lightwell. You don't have to click on it in the field. You can have a fancy raid UI element, and if you add, if you have a raid frames like grid or healbot or anything like that, and you focus it, you can add those focus targets to your healbot as well. So you don't even have to use this frame. I can actually hover over Lightwell and healbot and hit F17, and it gives me a charge. And then hit L for target last target. That's my keybind for it. And I targeted my last target. So not sure why that's so difficult. You don't have to find it at all. You don't have to see it at all. It's there. You have it. You have this thing. It would be nice if you could right click on this, but all that does is, you know, do this stuff. Oh, by the way, you can actually give it a raid icon. Check it out. So everyone complains they can't see it in a raid. Well, why not give it a icon? It certainly is easy enough to do. So that is how you use Lightwell. Unfortunately, in the beta, the new Lightwell can't be targeted like this for some stupid reason. The main problem with it always was, rather than changing your target, so I've got this guy targeted, I click on the Lightwell, it changed my target to the Lightwell. All we needed, Blizzard, was for you to not have the target change. And of course we like Author's Abacus procking. But instead you made it so we can't target it at all, and I don't understand why that is. That's not a good idea. That's going to make it much more difficult to use. People like me, I'm a healer. I focus it, I stick it somewhere, I don't worry about it. I go around and I heal. Actually, I can heal and then do my mouse over, which I could attach to a button on my mouse, and just, so there I'm casting Greater Heal, and I used Lightwell at the same time. Here, let me demonstrate again. Casting Greater Heal, using Lightwell at the same time. Now Lightwell will interrupt certain things, which is stupid because it's not supposed to interrupt things, but it will interrupt a channel. So let's just say I am channeling Hymn of Hope. Then I can, if I use the Lightwell, it interrupted the channel, and then Author's Abacus procs, which is nice. But so don't channel and then try to use Lightwell, because it's going to interrupt your channel, which is a bummer for Shadow Priests because they're mind flaying a lot. So Blizzard, you should fix that. You should not have it so that we can't target it. This isn't a fish feast. I mean, we actually want to be able to target it. Because otherwise, how do we get a fancy raid UI element out of it? Like this, that you can move somewhere on the screen and stick somewhere, and then just hover over it and then hit F17 and then get a charge, and I didn't even have to click on this thing. Or over here and then hit F17. Or just keep it targeted and then hit F18, interact with target. No. I don't even have to mouse over there. So if I have it targeted, I can hit F18. Here, let me go over here. I'm not going to mouse over it. I'll hit F18, it gave me a Lightwell charge.
Here there.
F18 is interact with target. Dual boxers use that because they can do things like they can have a guy selected. I'm not even going to click on him. My mouse is over here, F18, and I interacted with this guy. So I don't know.
Very good.
Interact helps you use the Lightwell better. It's not that hard to do. So that has been the horn says class is over. That has been a training. A little training course on Lightwell. Since everyone seems to think it's impossible to use, it's actually very easy to use. The real problem has always been that